Andrei, how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
Hey, man, how you
I'm
holding up?
good.
One and only Belarusian comedian.
No, we have like maybe 40
You have 40, and
comedians.
how are they doing? Are they doing a lot of shows right now?
No, they've been on pause for like 2 or 3 weeks after the presidential elections. But now, yeah, we're starting to unpause them. So I've already had some mics this week, like 2 or 3.
So you had 2 or 3 mics in Minsk.
Yeah,
Uh,
but before the elections, we had usually like seven or from 7 to 10 mics and shows per week. So two is not so many.
I mean, has the government been giving you any problems after the election, or?
Um, you mean problems to stand up
Yeah,
shows?
yeah, or like
No,
artists in
they
general?
no, they don't care actually about stand up in our country and artists. They just um, people have problems when they go outside to protest. And when you have an indoor show, government just doesn't care. They
Right.
don't care.
So it's just like Russia. They know what's going on, but they don't really bother the comedians.
Yeah,
So you have, I mean, you've been taking part in the protests yourself. I saw the picture you put on the internet.
yeah. A few times, like 2 weeks ago, there was the like biggest protests by the number of people in the history of our country. About maybe 300,000 people went outside. Um, so it's like in Minsk, the population is 2 million people. So when uh, it's like too many when 300,000 people go outside. Oh yeah, that was the biggest one. I was there, and it felt awesome. I've never seen that many people in my life ever. So, and we were all, just all together. Um, felt like I was. It felt like I have a big family.
So
It was great.
I mean, 300,000 people. That's the almost the whole population of Iceland. And so, I mean, the people obviously, your dictator, leader, whoever, what do you want to call him? He's been in charge for now 20 years, and he doesn't seem to want to leave. And he's already said that he's flirting with Russia, and he wants to sort of, you know, go do some other things to try to break up the protests. But the protesters don't seem to want to go home. I mean, this sort of looks like this reminds. I mean, I guess a little bit of like Romania in 1989, when the leader was so he didn't understand that the people didn't want them there anymore. But at the end he had to leave. I think the same thing is going to happen for Belarus.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, people here, like we are fed up with the shit our president keeps saying like every day, like every news where our president is mentioned. We like before reading, you already know that there's gonna be some bullshit or stupid phrases like women cannot be the president because women cannot become president because like they're not so strong. Like
it's like it's like an old Soviet mentality of
yeah, that's like actually what he said.
yeah. I mean,
So
so
and it's just one of many stupid things he said. So people are fed up with this shit.
and I mean, do you see a revolution happening in the next few weeks or months? I mean, hopefully not violent, but something. What is the feeling with the people on the streets in Minsk and all over Belarus? What do they feel is going to happen next? Does anybody know?
Nobody knows. Looks like it's gonna be the way it is right now. So president does not want to go away, and the protests like less people are participating in this protests.
So it's like it's dying down a bit.
Yeah, it's
And
like
so I guess the sort of the flame is going away. So maybe people feel like, it's just not worth it. Like they just, get back to our daily jobs and.
yeah, I guess people just are tired, and our president keeps saying that he won't go, even if he's like recently he said that I'll only go. Yeah, I'll only quit being president if you kill me.
Oh yeah, we saw that. Yeah. So I mean, I guess there were maybe somebody in your country who went, okay, challenge accepted.
No, the protests are peaceful, and people are even after the protest, people are collecting. People collect garbage from the streets, so it's peaceful and clean, and doesn't look like something violent will happen.
No.
So,
but yeah,
probably the president will stay alive.
So he'll stay alive, and peaceful. Well, the protest will probably just die down, and well, I mean, because it was looking a little bit scary at the very beginning when he was saying that he was going to have Russian airplanes flying over Minsk, and the Belarusian soldiers were being sent to the Polish borders and the Lithuanian borders. But I guess now that everything's dying down, it's just going to go back to normal.
Yeah, this guy is like crazy. He's 65 years old already, and he's out of his mind. Like, recently, he came out of his helicopter carrying an AK-47 or 74, just for no reason.
It's like something Borat would do. It's like, what was it? The leader, is it Azerbaijan, the guy who was riding the bike and like shooting targets on his bike?
That's Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, and also like because the leader, like Lukashenko, has this 15-year-old son, right? Who's like the King Joffrey of Belarus.
He also was carrying a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what are they trying to say? It's like, is it like a strongman kind of, like
No.
leader of Wadia?
But it looked so weird. People were just marching and singing songs. And he's like, with his gun.
It's like showing up like a little kid, just. I mean, the funny thing is because the last time I saw you was at the St. Petersburg Fringe Festival, when you were standing on the balcony throwing McDonald's hamburgers down to people who were walking past the after party. And I remember thinking to myself, if Belarus ever needs new leadership, who better than a guy who literally feeds the workers of the world from a balcony? It was like a scene from Evita, Madonna just throwing McDonald's hamburgers down to blue-collared workers.
New Lenin,
The new Lenin. There you go.
Like the modern type.
do like, as a comedian in Belarus, do you not have any political aspirations, or do you not want to join politics?
You mean join politics, or
yeah, like in
joke about politics?
I guess both. I mean, in this world, you can, a lot of, I guess a lot of comedians tend to, some of them tend to want to be politicians in the future.
Yeah, actually, the Ukrainian president, their current president,
yeah, exactly, Zelensky.
Yeah, he won the previous elections. But no, I don't think so because um, nobody just mm, wants to become a president of Belarus.
Mm.
Like we have nothing actually, and it's hard work, difficult job, to be a president of our country, and I don't know, but these guys like we had um, these elections were like the first after some long time when we had actually real good candidates like opponents to our current president, but he put them in jail just for no reason. We had this one guy who was uh, trying to become president. He was put in jail just because our president saw that he's gonna, I don't know.
Like challenge him or?
No, he just said like, yeah, that was my choice to put him behind bars just because uh, he looks like scary and he can looks like he wants some protests with guns. He was afraid like he said like he doesn't want the same thing that happened in Ukraine, like when before the Zelensky, there was another president, Poroshenko.
Yeah, during the Maidan protests, right?
Yeah. So he said like he's gonna make a new Maidan, so I put him behind bars. That's weird.
I mean, this is sort of, you think about like after the post-Cold War, I mean, there have sort of become like, it's not just Poland with Solidarność or Ukraine with Maidan. I mean, there seems to just, I guess people in Eastern Europe, they have a their patience, they have a very, very long patience for corruption. And, I remember asking people in Ukraine about Chernobyl, and they said, oh, well, it's just something that we're so used to. We're used to this type. We don't understand why people in the West are so fascinated with Chernobyl, because this was just one more fuck up that the government did to us. And so there's sort of this idea that, so I guess when people come out and protest, so many people like this, the patience has just like reached the point where they can't do anymore.
Yeah, actually, Chernobyl also affected our country because it's in the
They're
border
on the
of
border, yeah.
Ukraine, on the border of Ukraine, so, between Ukraine and Belarus. So yeah, I know.
But that was it wasn't that was in the TV series. One of the scientists, the lady, she was from Minsk Institute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it was sort of the joke that she went to visit. I think it was the president or whatever, who was the guy who worked in the shoe factory before,
Mm-hmm.
and he wouldn't listen to her because he was, had been a worker at labor working in the shoe factory, and then he became the president or the department of something, and she was just a scientist. So, I mean, I guess even in the Cold War Soviet era, where people thought that they were all sort of equal, there was this class system.
Yeah, and that's like what it feels right now in Belarus. Like it feels like we're still in Soviet Union. Uh, like nothing changed, and
Yeah.
it's shitty.
Is that the feeling for people, that it feels like the Soviet Union still?
Yeah, it's like Minsk is a great city. It's clean and you know, kind of European style. We have some streets with many bars, like in St. Petersburg. Uh, but the because of the people who run this country, uh, they make it less European and more like Soviet Union because of the laws they issue and their policies and the way they deal with some private companies. They still believe that private companies are some, I don't know, say they want to destroy the country, their enemies of government,
the capitalists,
yeah.
and
Yeah, right.
so they're the enemies of the workers, and
Yeah.
well, I mean, this would probably explain, a lot of Putin's, I guess, his population, his popularity. Because the thing was, in Moscow and St. Petersburg, I didn't really feel like a lot of people supported him, but most of his support obviously is in the countryside. So,
Hmm.
if you're either somebody who's older, but maybe when the Soviet Union was collapsing, they hated the Soviet Union, but now they sort of have they have this romantic vision of what the Soviet Union was. So they see a guy like Putin thinking, well, I'm going to bring back the Soviet Union. I'm going to bring back, I guess, a mixture of the Soviet Union and the czars. And they think that's exactly, it's like sort of make Russia great again mentality. And I guess, that's the angle that Lukashenko was trying to do as well. I mean, is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but I mean, like I said, let's get back to the comedy thing, because I really wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about the. So you said you've been doing 2 mics in recently, right? You had 2 open mics,
Yeah.
but then before that you had how many was it usually that you do a week?
From 7 to 10. Not like that's the amount of mics, the number of mics we usually have. Not that I'm participating in every of them, but yeah, usually we have like from 7 to 10 per week. So comedy is quite popular here in Minsk. And it's enough when you have um, 40 comedians and people love comedy here. So there's like, I don't remember the last time we had an open mic and there was no people or just a few. We haven't so much time ago, so people love going to comedy shows. That's great.
Okay, 40. You said what? Around 40 comedians performing in Minsk.
I guess I don't know the exact number, but maybe from 30 to 40 in Minsk.
And
Um,
is it a comedy, like one comedy club, or is it like in Russia you have to find like different venues, like this bar and that bar, and
we have like one comedy club. I mean the place that called stand-up comedy hall. They have shows like every day. It's just the place where it's just a stand-up club, and the rest of the places are just random bars. So we have one stand-up club and many bars with open mics and just shows. Um,
but yeah, it's a legit comedy club. Like, is that a new club? Did it open like recently, or?
yeah, they opened 1 year ago, I guess. Um, yeah, but we also have some not comedy clubs, but comedy groups. How to call it? I don't know. Just some comedians together and call themselves like comedy dogs. And, yeah,
It's like improv troops, or?
no, just just 4 comedians together doing some shows in Minsk,
So they'll
or stand-up Minsk.
So they'll just go. I
So
mean,
we have a few groups like this and one comedy club.
do you have a lot of? I mean, I guess apart from Russians, do you have a lot of foreign comedians coming and performing there?
No,
No.
there was just one guy months ago who came from LA and he was doing stand-up in English at a Russian open mic, so it was kind of weird. And 1 year ago, there was a guy came from Chicago. Um, Same thing. He was doing stand-up in English at Russian open mic. But we don't have English open mics here. We had a few, maybe English shows, 3, 4 English shows long time ago. And it's just because not so many comedians here speak English good enough to, you know, to make up jokes, to go on stage.
And so it's all in Russian then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting though that like Russia. I mean, Russia is more has more English open mics than Belarus. Belarus is closer, so it is like technically closer to Europe than Russia. I mean, is it just is it lack of exposure? I mean,
No, it's just because in Moscow, for example, the population is 10 times bigger than in Minsk, and they have more comedians, so more comedians who can speak English. Um, so that's just happening because
it's
they have
demographics.
more English-speaking comedians than we.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is like, do you get Netflix in? I feel like a stupid question. Do you have Netflix in Belarus?
Yeah, we have internet.
Yeah. No, because in Iceland we didn't have Netflix until a few years ago. Our government is sort of a little bit like a Eastern European government when it comes to entertainment, because we're very protective about the language, because there's like 5 people in the world who speak it. So we're very, or we are. I mean, the government is very afraid of all these really good quality American movies coming in and ruining Icelandic. But I mean, do people in Belarus? I mean, obviously the comedians there. Do they watch like Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We were inspired by the comedians like Bill Burr and Louis C.K. and Jim Jeffries and the first comedians who started stand-up community here, who started doing open mics. They were all inspired by the comedians from US and Britain. So yeah, we know about it and we watch every special coming out on Netflix.
So I mean, people are they are aware. So like if because I know like Anthony Jeselnik, he went to Poland last year, and so I guess I get this feeling like comedy is moving more and more east. Like this English language scene is moving more and more east. Like Ali Weinstein was talking about this in St. Pete last year, that comedy in Russia in English is growing. And when I did my show in Kiev, I got the sense that like there was also that growing, and obviously they do it in their own language as well, but because we start associating comedy more and more with English, that I mean, do you see that happening in Belarus as well? Like there's going to be eventually an English open mic?
Yeah, we are going to have at least a few mics in September. So we want to do stand-up in English. It's just the matter of, as I already said, the number of comedians who can speak it. But yeah, it's growing, and English, as a language, is more. It was made like for doing comedy. Like I can say that I can tell the same joke in Russian and in English, and just because of the language, it would be more. It would be funnier in English. So I had that experience where I was doing the same material in both languages, the Russian open mic and then the same material in English open mic, and it was much better when I did it in English. So yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a subtle language, I guess. I guess Russian would be a little bit more direct. Icelandic has the same problem. It's a very direct language, so it's harder to be like ironic in this language.
Hmm.
But I mean, what about the rules for shows? I mean, are there? Because what was interesting is I noticed when I was working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the one of my jobs was to sort of like research what all the countries in Europe were doing, like what rules they had for COVID. And I noticed Belarus was the only country that didn't have any rules for COVID. It was just like, no, it's fine, no problem. It was like no testing, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I recently recovered from COVID. Like
You had
1 month
COVID,
ago. Yeah,
and you're doing okay now.
yeah, I'm okay, but I guess almost. I mean, we all had COVID in Belarus because there's no way we did not have any rules. So
And is it the same way now? I mean, no rules for. I mean,
yeah,
obviously
our president said like 1 month ago that we won.
that you won.
That yeah, that there is no more COVID
Yeah,
here.
that's right. Yeah, he mentioned that. Yeah, that it's sort of like it's like when they said no gays in Iran. It's just it's everything's it is what I say it is. So I guess for the shows, the two open mics that you had, there's no like two seats in between, or do you the comedians enforce?
No, people don't care about COVID anymore. They are not scared because all like their thoughts are just about the elections that happened recently and the current president and the protests. So they're like, okay, COVID is not that important.
So we'll just yeah, it's a pecking order. We'll prioritize the revolution, and then we'll take care of the COVID
Yeah, COVID later now.
problem. Yeah, it's well, I remember a lot of the Dennis Nicolin was very excited about the fact that I guess like very early on when they thought that vodka and alcohol could kill COVID, and there was this idea
Yeah.
that all the Eastern European countries like we're good. Uh, are you planning on doing
No,
any?
that's one of the reasons people are fed up with our president because he keeps telling shit like this, vodka and COVID, and
Guns and helicopters and
yeah.
are you planning, obviously everything was canceled this year, but are you planning any tours for next year? Are you going back to St. Pete or?
I don't know. Actually, I'm thinking of going to Berlin. I mean, for a few weeks, maybe several times this year when the borders are open again. Because I can do like I don't need to go to St. Petersburg or Moscow because there are enough Russian open mics here. So I just want to practice my English. So Berlin is like the best place in Europe, except maybe United Kingdom, for the stand-up in English. I was there a few times previous year, and I really liked. They have many shows in English every week. Like they almost don't have shows in German.
I've heard that.
They're
I've heard it's very sort of like there's 100 scenes and there's all these different clubs to do. And I mean, I know there's Cosmic Comedy.
yeah, I was
And
there.
I remember like during Fringe, they were doing a lot of advertising. So they have a lot of, I mean, I guess it's sort of like when the Beatles were in Hamburg, like a lot of the comedians will come to Berlin. It's very hipster. It's very art oriented. So naturally, you have a lot of people who are just, very good at disappointing their parents. And what happens afterwards is that you're going to get a lot of stand-up comedy clubs.
Yeah, so I think going to Berlin just anytime is better than going to some festivals in Russia.
Yeah, no, I mean, even if you stay in Berlin for a few weeks, I mean, the good thing there is that there are a lot of other scenes growing around Europe. I know like New York Club in Paris. There's I don't know if you've heard of that. There's a really good comedy club in Paris. I haven't performed there myself, but I've heard really good things. Barcelona has a great comedy club. There's like a lot of, and it's just again, we don't know how the situation is going to go for the next few months, but if everything goes well, it's just a Ryanair flight away from all these places, or a train ride.
Right.
So I mean, you could do a weekend, or I mean, that's a good thing about being in Central Europe or in on the mainland, is that one of the problems that we have in Iceland is that we're on an island, so we're stuck. So we don't have a lot of options. But I think that's a good idea. I mean, you can check out scene in Berlin. You can sort of find your voice, your English voice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Actually, I love Ireland. I was dreaming of going there one day. Just the culture and the nature here is like. I know I was just dreaming of visiting Iceland one day, and I really loved the way your football team, soccer team performed. Like there was European games.
Yeah, 2000 the 2016. Yeah, that was. We didn't believe that was we were allowed to do that. Like we had been like the laughing stock of Europe for decades and decades. Like we lost to Denmark 14-2 one time, and that's it. Like we were that team, because obviously, like, because of the weather, we could never. Our team couldn't train more than 3-4 months out of the year, and then they were just on vacation for the winter. And then when the season started, they were just shit again. So. But no, it was they changed a lot. I mean, they built a lot of indoor football areas, and they would like find the young players and like, hey, this one is pretty good. Let's send him to like Denmark or England, and we'll train them from a young age. And so 10, 15 years later, we had the team that we had in 2016. But I just we because I was in China at the time when that was happening. And even like in rural China, me and my dad was visiting, and he was wearing the Iceland jersey, and so you'd have Chinese people like, oh, Bing Dao, Iceland. I was like, all right, this is our one moment, But then after 1 year, it's but then we get to the World Cup. That was fun. We lose, but in Iceland we have that saying, because we're so few, that we win even though we lose.
It's great. It's inspiring that country like yours. So obviously not that how to say. Fuck.
That's not
the best country in Europe, obviously.
Yeah, not the biggest. Not the biggest.
Not the biggest. Yeah, but just good people there, and good government, and just it's inspiring the way you can. I don't know what.
I mean,
I just like Iceland.
I mean, it's a small country. I guess we we obviously do have our problems and stuff, but I guess the one good thing about having a small country is that it's a lot more manageable. Like things with COVID. I mean, we tackled it very early on. I mean, we're kind of going back up in the numbers because of like tourism and a lot of different reasons. But early on, it's very easy to tell 350,000 people, okay, everyone stay home, watch Tiger King, get drunk, and put on your mask, whatever. And then obviously when you're in Ireland, you just close everything off. But then people said like, oh, it's you guys did such a good job. It's like, well, geography and size helped as well. But dude, I really think you should, if you get the chance, you should come to Iceland, come to the comedy club. At the
Oh, you have comedy club here.
Yeah, we have a comedy club in Reykjavik, the Secret Cellar. Actually, Bill Burr performed there last year, and so we're hopefully John Bishop was actually performing the other day as well. He was
I don't know. John
he's
Bishop.
a Liverpool comedian. Yeah, it's and yeah. So I mean, we're hopefully going to be getting a lot bigger as the situation probably gets better. But it's we really like it when we get international comedians coming through our town and performing at the club. So I mean, that'd be a fun thing for you to check out if you ever come to Iceland.
Yeah, I'll do.
And I suppose
Hopefully one day.
we need visas to come to Belarus as well. So I mean that'll be something we could check out as well. I'd love to. It'd be fun to do a show together in Minsk. If we ever
Why not?
I think that would.
Of course, you can just choose a date and I'll find a venue and do some marketing shit, and it's okay. We'll have a show.
We'll have a show.
We'll pick up a date when the borders are open again.
We'll send our jokes to the Ministry of Jokes, and they will get everything approved. Oh man. So Andrei, this has been a lot of fun, man. It was good to hear from you. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. So what are your plans for tonight and Saturday night in Minsk? Is there
I guess
probably
party? Get drunk alone at home.
You're gonna get drunk alone at home? I thought you were gonna say like you were at a cafe now. You're gonna get drunk with the people there, and you're gonna go out and organize a protest.
No, not. It's still COVID here, and
yeah,
it's kind of scary now going outside because, as we already discussed, like the government is very strict, and they are putting all the people who protest in jail. So.
So they're like coming down now on people who were at the protest.
Yeah, they actually can pick up. They were picking up random people streets. Like, yeah, some guy was walking alone, and the car was passing by, and then they just stopped and took him and put him in jail. So that happens here, and it's more safe to drink alone at home than going, partying.
Yeah, I suppose if they wanted to pick you up and take you to jail, the best time would be when you are drunk.
Yeah, but hangover in jail, it's not that cool, I guess.
I love your attitude to that, Andrei. It's like the thing you're not worried about the jail sentence. You're not worried about what the government is going to do. You're worried about you're going to be hungover in jail. That's what we call a glass half full. Andrei, it's been a lot of fun talking to you, man. Stay safe. Keep in touch with us as well. I mean, this, everything's kind of going to shit right now, but we just got to look to the future, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. I mean, I give it less than a year, and we'll be planning tours again.
Thanks, man. I hope so.
Yeah. So
thanks for the invite, and have a good. Have a good weekend, or I don't know.
Thanks, man. All the best to you, man, and best of luck to you. And we'll stay in touch. All right.
Yeah. Well.
All right, buddy. Take care, man.